Welcome to Jungle Giants, the life of the giraffe. Imagine you're standing in the heart of Africa, surrounded by towering trees and a carpet of golden grass that stretches as far as the eye can see. Suddenly, rising above the canopy, you spot the unmistakable silhouette of one of nature's most extraordinary creatures, the giraffe. In this series, we're taking you on an extraordinary journey into the world of these gentle giants, animals that seem almost mythical with their long, slender necks, strikingly patterned coats, and graceful, slow-motion strides. Giraffes are more than just the tallest land animals. They're a key part of the ecosystem, shaping their surroundings and influencing the lives of countless other species. But what makes giraffes so unique? We'll explore their physical adaptations, how those impossibly long necks and powerful legs help them reach heights other animals can't, allowing them to graze on leaves and flowers high in the trees. We'll uncover their fascinating social lives, from the loose herds they form to the complex ways they interact with each other through body language, grooming, and even playful sparring matches. And we'll look at the challenges giraffes face, from predators lurking in the shadows to the effects of changing seasons on their food supply. Each episode will reveal more about how giraffes thrive in places you might not expect: lush forests, dense woodlands, and open savannas, adapting with surprising resilience and intelligence. So, join us as we step into the world of giraffes, where towering necks and gentle souls stand tall against the wild backdrop of Africa. This is Jungle Giants, and the life of the giraffe awaits. Today, we're meeting some of the most captivating giants of the jungle, the giraffes. Giraffes are often described as elegant, almost magical beings, blending strength with a quiet gentleness that makes them one of the most beloved animals in the wild. But what is it about giraffes that captures our fascination? Let's dive into their world and get to know them up close. At first glance, it's their height that's most striking. Standing up to 18 feet tall, giraffes are the tallest animals on Earth, towering over almost every other creature in their environment. This height isn't just for show. It's one of their greatest tools for survival. By reaching up high, they can access leaves, fruits, and flowers that are far out of reach for other herbivores. And they have some of the most flexible tongues in the animal kingdom, stretching up to 20 inches to grasp leaves and twigs with ease. Then there's their coat, a breathtaking patchwork of spots and patterns that's as unique as a fingerprint. Each giraffe has a distinct coat pattern, which helps them blend into the dappled sunlight of their jungle and savanna habitats. This camouflage offers protection, especially for the younger giraffes, who can rest safely hidden from predators in the shadowy patches of the forest floor. But it's not just about looks and size. Giraffes are built with incredible physical adaptations that help them live among the dense trees and open plains. Their long legs allow them to move gracefully over large distances, covering up to 15 miles in a single day. And while their necks are long, they actually have only 7 neck vertebrae, the same number as humans. Each vertebra, however, is extra long, creating that famous giraffe silhouette. Through this series, we'll continue uncovering the amazing ways giraffes use their unique traits to thrive. From their daily interactions to their feeding habits, these giants of the jungle have mastered survival in a way that's nothing short of awe-inspiring. So, let's step into the world of giraffes, where every detail, from their height to their spots, is a story of adaptation, resilience, and elegance in the wild. Jungle and grassland life. As we follow the trail of the giraffe, we'll discover the fascinating range of places they call home, from dense forests to sweeping grasslands. These giants of the animal kingdom may be best known for their presence on the African savannas, but did you know that some giraffes also thrive in jungle-like environments? Giraffes have an incredible ability to adapt, moving with ease between habitats that are often miles apart in both climate and terrain. In the grasslands, they stand out like sentinels, easily spotted against the flat horizon. Here, their height gives them a special advantage. Standing at over 5 meters, a giraffe can see for miles across the open landscape, giving them an early warning system for approaching predators like lions. This height isn't just a view of potential dangers. It's also a vantage point for spotting food sources, allowing giraffes to move quickly to areas rich in acacia trees and other favorite plants. But when giraffes venture into denser, jungle-like habitats, their environment changes dramatically. Here, the canopy is thick and sunlight filters through in patches, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. In these lush, wooded areas, giraffes rely on their patterned coats to blend in with their surroundings. Each spot on a giraffe's coat is a natural camouflage, helping them remain less noticeable among the dappled light and shadow of the forest. In the forest, they also have to be a bit more agile. The dense growth requires careful navigation, so they must be mindful of low-hanging branches and thorny underbrush. While reaching up for leaves in the jungle might be challenging, giraffes use their long, flexible tongues to strip foliage from even the most hard-to-reach branches. Whether in open grasslands or tangled forests, giraffes have become masters of their environment, adapting their behavior and feeding habits to suit each unique landscape. In each habitat, their towering presence isn't just awe-inspiring. It plays a crucial role in the balance of their ecosystem. They help maintain tree growth, providing space for smaller plants and grazing animals to thrive below. This mutual relationship between giraffes and their habitats highlights how connected every creature is in the delicate web of life. So as we continue this journey, remember that every landscape a giraffe crosses is more than a backdrop. It's an intricate home that they've helped shape and that, in turn, sustains them. Importance of being tall. One of the most remarkable things about giraffes is their incredible height, a trait that gives them a unique advantage in the wild. Standing head and shoulders above the other animals in their environment, giraffes use their height as a powerful tool for survival. Imagine being able to look over a vast expanse of grassland with no trees or rocks blocking your view. That's what it's like for a giraffe as it surveys its surroundings. Their towering height allows them to see for miles, spotting potential dangers long before they're close. A giraffe can detect predators like lions or hyenas from far away, giving it the chance to react quickly and warn others in the herd. But there's another perk to being tall. Giraffes can reach food that's simply out of reach for other animals. They're natural specialists at foraging, stretching up to eat the leaves, flowers, and fruits that grow high in the trees. In particular, giraffes have a fondness for the leaves of acacia trees. Most herbivores can only graze at ground level, but giraffes can access the top branches where the freshest, most nutrient-rich leaves grow. And with their incredibly long, flexible tongues, reaching up to 20 inches, they can skillfully wrap around the thorniest branches, avoiding any sharp spines to pull leaves free. This height advantage also means giraffes play a unique role in their ecosystem. By feeding on higher branches, they trim the trees in a way that benefits other animals. Sunlight can now reach the ground, encouraging a new growth of grasses and shrubs for smaller herbivores to eat, creating a balanced environment where all species benefit. So, in the world of giraffes, height isn't just a physical trait, it's a lifestyle. Being tall keeps them safe, well-fed, and essential to the health of their habitat. And as we continue our journey with these gentle giants, we'll see how every inch of that height has a purpose, perfectly adapted to life in the wild. Feeding high, the giraffe's diet and foraging habits. In this series of the Jungle Giants, we're diving into the fascinating world of giraffe dining habits. While many animals graze on grasses and low shrubs, giraffes have mastered the art of foraging high above the ground. Their height, reaching up to 18 feet, gives them access to an exclusive menu of leaves, fruits, and flowers that few other creatures can reach. Picture a giraffe standing tall beneath an acacia tree, one of their favorite food sources. With their long necks and powerful legs, giraffes can stretch up to grab the luscious, most nutritious leaves from the highest branches. But it's not just their height that makes this possible. They have an amazing tool that helps them reach even further: their prehensile tongue. This remarkable tongue, about 20 inches long, is flexible, tough, and perfectly suited for wrapping around thorny branches to strip off leaves with ease. And it's even a dark, purplish color, protecting it from sunburn as it spends hours each day foraging under the intense African sun. Giraffes are selective eaters, choosing leaves and fruits that offer the best nutrition. They're particularly drawn to plants that are rich in moisture, like acacias, which provide hydration and nutrients in the dry seasons. And when they come across flowers or young shoots, they don't hesitate to snack on them, enjoying a variety of textures and flavors that help keep their diet balanced. In fact, giraffes can eat hundreds of pounds of vegetation each week. This makes them some of the most influential herbivores in their ecosystem, as their feeding habits shape the landscape. By foraging on tall trees, they create an open canopy that allows sunlight to reach lower plants, supporting diverse plant life and creating food sources for other animals. So, as master foragers, giraffes do more than simply eat. They're like gardeners of the jungle, pruning trees, encouraging new growth, and ensuring that the land remains lush and vibrant. In the next segment, we'll uncover even more unique strategies that giraffes use to survive, thrive, and navigate the challenges of finding food in the wild. Unique feeding strategies. As we continue exploring the giraffes' remarkable foraging habits, let's take a closer look at their unique feeding strategies. Giraffes aren't just tall for the sake of height. Their long necks and specialized tongues allow them to access food sources that are out of reach for other animals, reducing competition and giving them a unique place in the food chain. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do so now. Give us a thumbs up and turn on the notification bell so as not be notified anytime we upload a new video. One of the most impressive aspects of a giraffe's feeding toolkit is their prehensile tongue. This tongue is not only incredibly long, stretching nearly 20 inches, but it's also incredibly flexible and tough, with a dark color that protects it from sunburn as they spend hours each day browsing. Their tongue works almost like a hand, wrapping around branches and carefully stripping off leaves, even those protected by sharp thorns. For example, acacia trees, a favorite of giraffes, are covered in long, protective thorns. While other animals might find these a barrier, giraffes use their tongues to maneuver around them, reaching the soft, nutritious leaves underneath without injury. Their height also provides a huge advantage. While most herbivores are limited to ground-level grasses and low shrubs, giraffes can browse in the canopy, reaching up to 18 feet to access leaves, flowers, and fruits that no other animals can reach. By specializing in the top branches of trees, giraffes avoid competing with shorter animals like zebras, antelope, and gazelles, which graze on grasses and shrubs closer to the ground. This height-based feeding strategy allows a wide variety of herbivores to coexist, each finding food at different levels of the landscape. In times of food scarcity, this unique ability to reach high food sources becomes even more crucial. Giraffes can access parts of trees that would otherwise go untouched, allowing them to survive droughts or dry seasons when ground-level vegetation is scarce. So, while their towering height and remarkable tongues might seem like simple traits, they're actually key survival strategies. Giraffes have mastered the art of feeding in the treetops, allowing them to thrive where others might struggle, a testament to the elegance and adaptability of these gentle giants. As we follow their story, we'll continue to uncover just how well giraffes are adapted to their environment, with each trait playing a vital role in their survival. Surviving food shortages. In the wild, food isn't always guaranteed. As seasons change, giraffes face the challenge of finding enough to eat, especially during periods of drought or dry seasons when vegetation becomes scarce. But giraffes are resilient creatures with remarkable adaptations that help them survive these lean times. One of the key adaptations is their ability to eat a diverse range of plants, especially tough, drought-resistant trees like the acacia. While grasses and smaller plants may wither away under the hot sun, acacia trees and similar vegetation can survive with very little water, providing a steady food source that giraffes can depend on. By stretching their long necks, giraffes reach the topmost branches, where leaves and pods are often still lush and green, even in harsh conditions. Another adaptation is their low water requirement. Unlike many animals that need to drink frequently, giraffes get most of their moisture directly from the leaves they eat, which means they don't have to rely on regular access to waterholes. This allows them to roam further during food shortages, covering large distances to find whatever vegetation might still be available. When they do find water, giraffes can drink up to 10 gallons in one go, storing enough to last them through days or even weeks without drinking again. Giraffes also conserve energy by moving slowly and feeding during the cooler parts of the day. Instead of traveling long distances in search of food, they'll often stay in areas where food is available, resting and conserving their strength as they browse. This slower pace helps them get through the dry season, when conserving energy can be the difference between survival and starvation. These adaptations reveal the resilience of giraffes in a constantly changing environment. As we continue our journey with these jungle giants, we'll see how each challenge, from food shortages to predators, has shaped them into one of the most fascinating and adaptable species in the animal kingdom. Giraffe society, social life, and bonding. In this episode of Jungle Giants, we turn our attention to giraffe society, a world where loose herds and social bonds create a unique way of life. Unlike some animals that form tightly knit packs, giraffes are a bit more independent, but they still thrive within a loosely connected herd structure that gives them a sense of safety and belonging. Giraffe herds are often a fluid mix of males, females, and calves, with members coming and going as they please. These loose groups offer a valuable form of social organization, especially for protection. With many eyes scanning the surroundings, it's easier to spot threats from afar. While the members of a herd may not stay together for life, they come together to increase their chances of survival, particularly when they're feeding or resting in open areas. Each group often has a mix of roles. The adult females tend to stay close to their calves, guiding them, teaching them how to browse for food, and ensuring their safety. Calves stay in the center of the herd, gaining protection from both their mothers and other adults. This nursery arrangement lets young giraffes interact with one another in a safe environment, learning through play and observation. Adult males, on the other hand, are more likely to be solitary or to move between herds, but they do play a key role. They engage in a behavior called necking, where they spar by swinging their necks and heads at each other. These sparring sessions establish a social hierarchy among males, with the more dominant ones winning better access to the females during the mating season. Despite the intense appearance of these contests, they rarely lead to serious injury and are more about establishing rank and respect. In the ever-changing social structure of giraffe herds, relationships may be brief, but they're essential. These connections allow giraffes to share in the safety of numbers, care for their young, and build bonds that offer companionship in an often unpredictable world. As we continue this journey, we'll see how these social bonds, even though flexible, play a crucial role in the lives of these gentle giants. Gentle bonds and playful calves. As we dive deeper into giraffe society, one of the most endearing aspects is the way young giraffes, or calves, interact with one another. Much like human children, calves are naturally playful, curious, and eager to explore. This playful behavior isn't just for fun. It's essential for their development, helping them build social bonds and practice the skills they'll need for survival. From an early age, giraffe calves start to spar with each other in a gentle, almost clumsy way. They mimic the necking behavior they see in adult males, swinging their heads and necks at one another, testing their strength and coordination. These playful sparring sessions might seem like simple games, but they're actually training exercises. Through this play, calves learn how to balance their towering bodies, improve their muscle control, and develop the strength they'll need as adults. This light-hearted sparring also helps them understand the social dynamics within their group, learning what it means to give and take in interactions. Beyond sparring, calves bond by sticking close to each other, creating mini nurseries where they can feel secure while their mothers forage nearby. They develop friendships, often forming groups with other calves of similar ages. These young groups allow them to explore, run, and play in a safe environment, building the social confidence that will help them navigate their lives as adults. This social play isn't limited to just calves either. The gentle bonds they form extend into adolescence and even adulthood, creating a foundation of familiarity within the herd. The bonds developed during these early stages create a subtle network of connections among individuals, giving them a sense of community and trust, even within the loose structure of giraffe society. So, while giraffes may be gentle giants, their calves are full of life and energy, with every playful nudge, sparring match, and gentle touch contributing to their growth. Through these bonds, they gain the social skills and resilience that will guide them as they take their place among the towering giants of the jungle. The complex world of giraffe interaction. In the vast, unpredictable world of the jungle and savanna, social interaction is a crucial part of life for giraffes. While they may not have the close-knit family groups of elephants or the pack structures of lions, giraffes have their own intricate network of social ties that play a significant role in their safety, learning, and survival. One of the primary benefits of giraffe social ties is the protection they provide. By forming loose herds, giraffes increase their collective vigilance. With multiple pairs of eyes scanning the landscape, it becomes much easier to spot potential threats, such as lions or hyenas. A single giraffe might miss a predator lurking in the grass, but within a group, there's a much higher chance someone will detect the danger and alert the others. This shared responsibility allows individuals within the herd to spend more time feeding, resting, or caring for their young without constantly watching over their shoulder. Beyond safety, social ties also play a big role in learning. Young giraffes observe the behaviors of adults in the herd, picking up essential survival skills by watching how they browse for food, identify nutritious plants, and respond to different dangers. For example, calves learn which trees provide the best food in different seasons, as well as how to navigate the thorny branches of acacia trees. This observational learning is crucial, as calves need to quickly adapt to the challenges of their environment if they're to survive on their own. For adults, social interaction helps establish hierarchy and reinforce social bonds. While these interactions may appear casual, they're actually complex exchanges that help each giraffe understand its place within the herd. Males, for instance, engage in ritualistic necking to determine dominance and mating rights, while females may form bonds that help them cooperate in calf rearing, creating an informal support system. In the world of giraffes, where family bonds are loose and individual independence is valued, these subtle social ties allow them to coexist harmoniously. They may appear solitary at times, but every interaction, every shared look, and every brief gathering adds strength to the invisible network that connects them all. Through these complex yet understated relationships, giraffes find ways to thrive in their dynamic and often challenging jungle world, reminding us of the silent strength in their social connections. As we continue this journey with our gentle giants, we'll discover even more layers of their remarkable social lives, revealing just how deep and meaningful these connections truly are. The life of a tall guardian, spotting danger from afar. As we venture further into the world of giraffes, we come to one of their most fascinating roles, that of the jungle's quiet sentinels. Towering above nearly every other creature, giraffes have a natural advantage when it comes to spotting danger. Their extraordinary height isn't just for reaching the highest leaves. It's also their best defense against the predators that lurk below. A giraffe's height, combined with sharp eyesight, gives it an unparalleled vantage point. Standing nearly 18 feet tall, giraffes can see far across the grasslands and forests they call home. Their large, forward-facing eyes give them a wide field of vision, helping them scan for movement or suspicious shapes that may signal a lurking predator. From their towering perspective, they can spot a lion, hyena, or even a pack of wild dogs well before these predators can get close. This advance warning often gives them the time they need to either move away or prepare to defend themselves if necessary. Interestingly, a giraffe's watchful presence doesn't just benefit its own survival. It helps many other animals as well. In areas where giraffes roam, other herbivores like zebras, antelopes, and wildebeest often stay close to them, relying on their keen senses and height to detect danger. When a giraffe senses a threat and becomes alert, the other animals take notice too, preparing to flee if necessary. In this way, giraffes play a protective role in their ecosystem, serving as the tall guardians of the grasslands, quietly watching over their community. But giraffes don't always flee at the first sign of danger. Sometimes, they stand their ground, especially if they're protecting calves or if escape isn't an option. Using powerful kicks from their long legs, they can deliver a forceful blow capable of deterring even the fiercest predators. However, it's their extraordinary height and vision that serve as their primary shield, allowing them to avoid confrontation altogether by simply staying one step ahead of potential threats. Through their vigilant presence, giraffes offer us a powerful reminder of how observation and awareness can be the best forms of protection. Their watchful eyes and towering stance help them navigate a world filled with dangers, all while quietly serving as guardians for the many creatures that share their home. As we continue to explore their lives, we'll see how giraffes embody the strength that comes with being both a gentle giant and a steadfast protector. The life of a tall guardian, defensive strategies. As we dive deeper into the giraffe's role as a tall guardian, we uncover some fascinating defensive tactics that this gentle giant uses to protect itself and its young. While giraffes are peaceful by nature, they aren't defenseless. In fact, their towering height and powerful legs make them surprisingly formidable when it comes to self-defense. One of the giraffe's most effective weapons is its kick. With legs strong enough to support their massive bodies, a well-placed kick from a giraffe is powerful enough to injure or even kill a predator. When faced with a threat, giraffes can kick in multiple directions, forward, backward, and even sideways, depending on where the danger lies. Each kick is delivered with a force that has been compared to a sledgehammer, making any predator think twice before getting too close. This defensive strategy is especially crucial for mother giraffes protecting their calves. Young giraffes are particularly vulnerable in their early months, drawing the attention of predators like lions, leopards, and hyenas. In these moments, mother giraffes become fiercely protective, positioning themselves between the predator and their calf, and using their powerful legs to deliver warning kicks if the threat comes too near. Their towering size also acts as a deterrent, as predators know that engaging with an adult giraffe is no easy task. But giraffes don't rely solely on their kicks. They are also quick on their feet, capable of running at speeds up to 35 miles per hour over short distances. This agility allows them to escape danger when the situation calls for it, especially in open grasslands where they can make a quick getaway. Additionally, giraffes often use their height strategically, choosing to rest or graze in areas with clear sight lines. This way, they can spot predators early and avoid the need for confrontation altogether. Through these unique defensive tactics, giraffes demonstrate that strength doesn't always come from aggression. It can also come from wisdom, awareness, and a readiness to act when necessary. In their quiet yet powerful ways, giraffes show us how to balance peace with protection, ensuring their survival while embodying the role of the gentle, steadfast guardian of the jungle. The life of a tall guardian. Working together. In the wild, survival often comes down to teamwork, and giraffes are a perfect example of how cooperation within an ecosystem can help many species thrive. While giraffes may not form tight packs like wolves or lions, they're integral members of a larger community of animals that work together in subtle but powerful ways. By simply existing in their shared habitat, giraffes benefit many animals around them, and in turn, gain advantages from the presence of other species. One of the most notable partnerships is the way giraffes help provide early warning signals to other animals. With their towering height and sharp eyesight, giraffes can spot predators from far away and alert the surrounding wildlife. When a giraffe suddenly freezes or becomes alert, it's a signal to smaller herbivores, like zebras, antelopes, and wildebeest, that danger could be near. This unspoken alert system helps these animals survive and minimizes the risk for everyone. Giraffes, in return, benefit from having these smaller animals nearby. They often sense threats first due to their proximity to the ground, and their nervous reactions can prompt giraffes to stay watchful. Beyond safety, giraffes play an ecological role in maintaining the health of their habitat, which benefits countless species. As they forage, giraffes prune the branches of tall trees and stimulate new growth. By feeding on the upper leaves and breaking branches, they help sunlight reach the ground, encouraging grasses and shrubs to grow. This process creates diverse layers of vegetation, supporting animals that graze closer to the ground, from insects to antelopes. This constant reshaping of the vegetation helps keep their ecosystem balanced, allowing different plants and animals to coexist and flourish. Additionally, giraffes are known to have a unique friendship with birds like oxpeckers, which perch on their backs and feed on parasites that can irritate the giraffe skin. This relationship is a classic example of mutualism. Both the bird and the giraffe benefit. The oxpecker gets a steady source of food, while the giraffe enjoys a reduction in pests and skin irritation. In this way, giraffes show us that even the tallest and seemingly most independent creatures rely on their community. Each interaction, whether with smaller herbivores or helpful birds, strengthens the fabric of life in the wild. Giraffes remind us that balance in nature isn't just about survival of the fittest. It's about cooperation, harmony, and respecting the roles each species plays in the ecosystem. Through these partnerships, giraffes and their neighbors create a vibrant, thriving jungle where every species has a place and purpose. A giraffe's journey, birth, and early challenges. Every journey begins with a first step, and for giraffes, that first step is more momentous than most. Giraffe calves, once born, face a world full of challenges, but they also embark on one of nature's most remarkable journeys, the journey from vulnerable newborn to a towering giant. The birth of a giraffe is a significant event in the wild, especially in the dense jungles and vast savannas where giraffes roam. Female giraffes give birth standing up, which means that the calf must endure a dramatic drop, sometimes as much as 6 feet, onto the ground. This may sound harsh, but it's essential for the calf's survival. The sudden fall helps stimulate the calf's respiratory system, allowing it to take its first breath. Immediately after birth, the calf's first priority is to stand up. Though their legs are wobbly and weak within hours, the calf must learn to stand and move to avoid predators. This is one of the most vulnerable moments in a young giraffe's life. At birth, giraffes are already quite large, around 6 feet tall, and can weigh up to 100 pounds. But despite their size, they are still incredibly vulnerable. Predators, like lions, hyenas, and leopards, are always lurking nearby, especially when the mother giraffe is still recovering from labor. The first few hours, days, and even weeks are critical for the calf's survival. During this time, the mother giraffe plays a pivotal role in protecting her young. She stays close to the calf, keeping a watchful eye on the horizon for any approaching danger. Her towering height allows her to detect predators long before they get close, giving her enough time to react and shield her calf. Calves, in turn, stay close to their mothers, learning vital skills through observation. Their large, expressive eyes take in every movement around them, studying the adults in the herd for cues on where to find food, how to communicate, and how to react to sudden danger. The herd itself provides additional protection, with older individuals and other mothers also keeping a vigilant eye out for predators. In the early days of life, giraffe calves face many challenges. Their long legs make walking difficult at first, and they must quickly gain strength to keep up with the herd. The jungle and savanna are full of potential threats, from predators to changing weather conditions. But as the days pass and the calf grows stronger, it begins to thrive. They learn the ways of the jungle and savanna, becoming skilled foragers and adapting to their ever-changing world. This period of growth is vital, as it sets the foundation for the rest of their life. With each day, the calves' chances of survival increase as they gain strength, agility, and wisdom. The bond between mother and calf during these early years is critical, and it will shape the young giraffe's place in the herd and its role in the ecosystem for years to come. It's a story of survival, growth, and the enduring strength of the giraffe, a gentle giant learning to navigate the challenges of its environment. A giraffe's journey, growing up tall. As the days and weeks pass, the young giraffe begins to grow, both in size and in its understanding of the world around it. What starts as a wobbly, vulnerable calf soon blossoms into a strong and independent young giraffe. navigating the challenges of jungle and savanna life. But growing up tall isn't just about size. It's about learning, adapting, and becoming an integral part of the giraffe herd. In the first few months, the calves' primary focus is gaining strength. Their legs grow stronger, their bodies larger, and their coordination improves. The giraffe's distinctive, long neck begins to stretch higher, but it's not just a physical change. It's also a time when a young giraffe learns vital survival skills. Early on, they begin to observe the adults in the herd, learning how to forage for leaves and branches, and how to distinguish between different plants. They practice their foraging techniques by mimicking the older giraffes, testing out their own ability to reach high branches with their long, prehensile tongues. As they grow taller and stronger, the young giraffe starts to explore more of their environment. They learn to navigate the dense jungle and open savanna, discovering the best places to find food and water. It's during this phase that young giraffes also begin to engage in playful sparring. This gentle sparring, where calves nudge and push one another with their heads, is not just for fun. It's a way to build strength and develop the skills they will need as they grow older. Though it may look like a game, these interactions teach them important lessons about balance, coordination, and even social hierarchy. Around the age of 1, young giraffes begin to gain more independence, though they still rely on their mothers for protection and guidance. They begin to graze on their own, but always stay close to the herd for safety. The herd provides a sense of security, offering protection from predators and a community for learning. The young giraffe continues to watch and learn from the older individuals, honing its foraging abilities and studying how the adults react to threats. By the time the giraffe reaches around 3 to 4 years old, it has grown into a strong, capable animal, with the ability to fend for itself if necessary. The young giraffe is now much taller, its coat patterned with the distinctive patches that mark its individuality. Its neck is long and strong, and it can now reach the highest leaves in the trees, just like the adults. However, it still remains within the safety of the herd, where social bonds are reinforced and learned behaviors continue to be practiced. Independence doesn't mean isolation, though. Giraffes thrive in social groups, and as they mature, they begin to form deeper social bonds with other members of the herd. Whether they are helping care for younger calves or taking on the role of a sentinel, the giraffe matures into a full-fledged member of the community. They'll continue to learn from the older, wiser members of the herd, and over time, they will start to take on more responsibilities. Growing up tall is not just about reaching physical height. It's about becoming a skilled forager, learning how to interact within the herd, and understanding how to navigate the dangers of the wild. Every step in a giraffe's life is a part of the process that prepares them to become not just a survivor, but a thriving and contributing member of their jungle and savanna ecosystem. This progression from calf to independent adult showcases the giraffe's remarkable journey as it grows stronger, learns from the herd, and prepares for the challenges of adulthood. A giraffe's journey, adolescence to adulthood. As the young giraffe matures, it enters a new chapter of its life, the transition from adolescence to adulthood. This stage is one of self-discovery, where the giraffe not only continues to grow physically, but also starts to understand its role within the herd and its place in the vast ecosystem. During adolescence, the giraffe experiences rapid growth. Its body becomes even taller, more muscular, and its coat deepens in color, developing the distinct patchwork patterns that will help it blend seamlessly into the environment. But beyond the physical changes, adolescence is also a time of behavioral shifts. The young giraffe, now fully mobile and self-sufficient in terms of foraging, begins to push the boundaries of independence. At this point, giraffes begin to explore their surroundings more actively. Male giraffes, in particular, will start to venture farther from the herd as they prepare for the journey toward adulthood. They may encounter other males, engaging in friendly rivalries or, occasionally, full-on battles, known as necking. These contests of strength and endurance, where males swing their necks and use their heads to strike one another, are not just displays of dominance. They help determine the most powerful males, those with the right to mate and reproduce. These necking matches also teach young males valuable lessons in physical prowess and strategy, lessons that will serve them throughout their adult lives. For female giraffes, the journey to adulthood is somewhat different. While they still engage in play with other calves and spend time learning from older females, females tend to stay in the same herd they were born into. They form strong, lifelong bonds with their mothers and other females, and as they grow, they begin to take on more of a nurturing role within the group, especially when it comes to looking after younger calves. Female giraffes tend to be the heart of the herd, ensuring the survival of the younger generations while maintaining the social harmony of the group. At around 5 years of age, both males and females start to come into their own. For males, it's a time to assert their dominance and establish their place in the hierarchy. If they are lucky enough, they may find a mate and begin the cycle of reproduction. For females, adulthood brings the opportunity to become mothers themselves, passing on the knowledge they've gained from the older generation while ensuring their offspring's survival in a world full of challenges. However, not all giraffes will stay with the herd. As the males grow older and stronger, some will choose a solitary existence. These lone males may roam from one territory to another, avoiding the competition of the herd and seeking opportunities to mate with females in other groups. Solitary life can be difficult. Without the safety and support of the herd, these males must rely on their strength and cunning to survive, avoiding predators and seeking out food in a vast and sometimes unforgiving landscape. In the wild, every giraffe's journey to adulthood is unique. Whether they remain in the herd or take on a solitary life, each giraffe plays an important role in the intricate web of jungle and savanna life. The bond between mothers and calves, the social structures within the herd, and the rivalry and competition among males are all part of the delicate balance that allows giraffes to thrive. As giraffes mature, they find their place in the world. Whether it's leading a group, caring for young calves, or roaming the wilds alone. And so, the cycle continues as each giraffe grows into its adulthood, ready to face the challenges of the wild with the strength, wisdom, and grace that only a giraffe can possess. In this transition from adolescence to adulthood, giraffes not only undergo physical growth, but also evolve into members of their community, whether as part of the herd or as solitary individuals, playing their essential roles in the vast and interconnected ecosystem. Communication among giants silent signals. In the vast landscapes of the jungle and savanna, where sounds can be swallowed up by the winds or the rustling of leaves, giraffes have developed a remarkable way of communicating without saying a word. Unlike many animals that rely on vocal calls to express themselves, giraffes use their bodies, through gestures, subtle movements, and postures, to send clear and powerful messages to one another. At first glance, it may seem like giraffes are silently going about their business, grazing peacefully, or wandering through the trees. But if you look closely, you'll see that they are constantly communicating with each other. Every stretch of their long neck, each tilt of their head, and the positioning of their bodies are intentional, speaking volumes without a single sound. One of the most common forms of communication in giraffes is through the positioning of their necks. For instance, when a giraffe holds its head high and straight, it may be signaling dominance or confidence, establishing its place in the hierarchy of the herd. On the other hand, a more relaxed, downward tilt of the head can indicate curiosity or a less threatening posture. When giraffes are interacting with one another, especially males, their necks become incredibly expressive. Necking, those dramatic displays of physical power between males, is a well-known example of giraffes communicating their strength, but it's also a way for them to establish social dominance and avoid unnecessary conflict. Similarly, a giraffe's body language is a sign of its emotional state. When a giraffe is startled or feels threatened, its body will stiffen, and it may stand completely still, scanning the horizon for any signs of danger. This stillness is an important survival tactic, allowing them to avoid detection by predators that might be nearby. On the other hand, when a giraffe feels safe and secure, it will relax its posture, standing with a more fluid, graceful demeanor as it continues to feed or walk through its habitat. The most fascinating of all giraffe communications is their subtle use of their tails and ears. A swishing tail can serve as a signal to drive away flies or pests, but when combined with ear movements, it can also indicate alertness or irritation. If a giraffe's ears are flattened back, it usually means they are feeling threatened or agitated, and this movement will often be accompanied by a shift in posture, such as raising their neck to a more alert stance. These cues are not only directed toward other giraffes, but can also send signals to other animals sharing the habitat. Even the simple act of touching, whether it's a gentle nudge or a light head-to-head push, can convey a message. In the case of mothers and calves, these soft physical touches are crucial for bonding and maintaining close relationships. For instance, a mother giraffe will often nudge her calf gently with her head to guide them, offering reassurance and showing the calf where to go or what to do. These small, tender gestures are a key part of their relationship, offering both emotional comfort and practical guidance as the calf learns to navigate its world. Giraffes also communicate through movement. For example, when one giraffe detects danger, it will often move slowly and steadily, signaling the others in the herd to do the same. A sudden shift in movement can be the difference between life and death, and so this type of quiet communication is vital to the survival of the group. Despite their towering height and relatively slow movements, giraffes are skilled communicators who rely on body language, subtle gestures, and silent signals to navigate the complex social structures of their herds. This form of communication, though often invisible to the casual observer, is an essential part of their ability to live, work, and thrive together in the ever-changing world of the jungle and savanna. In the next episode, we'll continue our exploration of giraffe communication, diving deeper into how they interact with other species and the unique ways they work together to survive in this vast, interconnected world. This episode emphasizes the silent yet effective ways giraffes communicate, using their physical movements and body language to convey important messages to one another and ensure their survival in the wild. Communication among giants, the mysterious giraffe hum. While giraffes may seem like the silent giants of the savanna, there is a mysterious side to their communication that many are unaware of, one that is low and almost imperceptible to the human ear. This form of communication is the giraffe's hum, a low-frequency vocalization that plays a crucial role in keeping giraffes connected, especially when they are apart. Giraffes are known to be relatively quiet animals, relying mostly on body language and subtle gestures to communicate. However, research has uncovered that giraffes do, in fact, produce sounds, particularly at low frequencies, which are much deeper and harder to hear. These low-pitch hums are unlike the vocalizations of many other mammals. They are generally too low for humans to pick up without specialized equipment, but other giraffes can hear them clearly, even over long distances. The giraffe hum, which is often described as a deep, almost musical sound, is believed to serve multiple purposes. One of its most important functions is for long-distance communication. At night, when giraffes are more spread out, the hum allows them to maintain contact with one another without the need for visual cues. The sound travels well over the vast savanna and dense jungle, ensuring that members of the same herd can stay in touch even when they can't see each other. For giraffes, especially those in larger herds, this hum serves as a way to keep track of each other's movements in the cover of night. It provides a sense of reassurance, ensuring that no giraffe feels truly isolated or separated from the group. This vocalization helps maintain social bonds, even when darkness clouds a landscape. Interestingly, the giraffe hum is not just for keeping in touch with herd mates. It's also a way for mothers and their calves to communicate. In the first few months of life, a calf relies on its mother for protection and nourishment. The low hums can help them find one another in the dark, guiding the calf back to its mother if they become separated. In fact, some researchers suggest that giraffes have an innate ability to recognize the unique hums of other giraffes, much like humans can identify voices in a crowded room. This enables them to identify who is nearby, especially in large groups, and helps them avoid confusion or unnecessary confrontations. But the hum isn't the only sound giraffes make. They can also produce a range of other vocalizations, such as snorts, grunts, and even a kind of mooing sound. These sounds are used in more specific contexts, when a giraffe is threatened, for example, or during the mating season, when males may grunt to signal their presence to females. However, the hum remains one of the most intriguing and important aspects of giraffe communication, especially when it comes to maintaining social cohesion and protecting the safety of the herd. It's amazing to think that such a large and seemingly quiet creature is capable of producing such subtle, yet important sounds. These low-frequency hums are an essential part of the giraffe's communication toolkit, ensuring they remain connected, even when the environment seems vast and lonely. Whether it's the hum of a mother calling to her calf or the gentle sounds of a herd communicating across a moonlit savanna, the giraffe's hum reveals the depth and complexity of their social lives. Next time you're out in the wild or watching a documentary about giraffes, remember that beneath their graceful, towering exterior lies a quieter, more mysterious side, one filled with low, humming connections that keep these gentle giants in touch with one another, even in the darkest hours of the night. In this episode, we dive into the unique and mysterious low-frequency vocalizations of giraffes, uncovering their significance in social bonding and communication, especially at night. The hum reveals an important, yet often overlooked, aspect of giraffe behavior, adding another layer of depth to their complex social structure. Unique ways of expression, giraffes' subtle signals. Despite their towering presence, giraffes have a surprisingly subtle and nuanced way of communicating with each other. They don't rely on loud calls or obvious displays. Instead, giraffes use a variety of subtle signals that convey important messages, whether they're feeding, socializing, or sensing danger. These expressions and signals are crucial to maintaining harmony within the herd and ensuring their survival in the wild. Feeding signals. When giraffes are feeding, they often engage in what seems like a peaceful, solitary activity, but even then, they are communicating. While grazing on the treetops, giraffes use their long necks and bodies to signal their intentions and spatial awareness to the others. A giraffe might stand tall and stretch its neck to reach the highest leaves on a tree, signaling to other members of the herd that this tree is a viable food source. In this way, giraffes share information about food availability without a word being spoken. Sometimes, giraffes will also engage in gentle body contact as a form of communication during feeding. A gentle nudge or nipping at the tree branches by one giraffe can encourage others to move closer or explore different food sources. This behavior is a way of sharing resources, and it reinforces the social bonds within the herd. It's a delicate balance of cooperation and competition, with giraffes subtly guiding one another toward their next meal. Social interactions. In social settings, giraffes use their necks and heads to express emotions and establish social hierarchies. One of the most fascinating aspects of giraffe social interactions is how they use their necks as a means of communicating status and dominance, especially among males. When two male giraffes meet, they engage in what is known as necking, where they swing their necks at each other in a rhythmic, sparring motion. While this may appear aggressive, it's actually a form of ritualized combat designed to assert dominance without causing harm. The giraffe that holds its ground and delivers the more powerful blows is often the one that earns the right to mate with females. Even when not necking, giraffes use subtle movements to indicate their mood or social standing. For example, a giraffe that tilts its head slightly while keeping its neck upright is likely showing interest in another giraffe, possibly signaling curiosity or the desire for social interaction. Similarly, a giraffe with its head lowered slightly may be demonstrating deference or humility, signaling that it doesn't wish to challenge another. Spotting danger. One of the most critical aspects of giraffe expression is their ability to detect and communicate danger. With their height, giraffes have a unique vantage point, which allows them to spot predators from miles away. When a giraffe senses something is amiss, it will often freeze, raising its head high and scanning the surroundings. This sudden stillness is a signal to the rest of the herd that something may be wrong. Giraffes rely on the ability of other herd members to notice these subtle cues and respond accordingly. In the case of a threat, such as a predator approaching, giraffes will often communicate danger through movement. A swift turn of the head or a flick of the tail may prompt the rest of the herd to take notice and move into action. Giraffes often rely on a combination of signals to warn each other: silent, still moments to spot the danger, followed by quick, coordinated movements to escape. When danger is imminent, giraffes also rely on their powerful legs and quick kicks to protect themselves and their young. If a predator comes too close, a giraffe's powerful kick can be the difference between life and death. Even in such intense moments, giraffes continue to use their body language, signaling each other through coordinated movements and subtle body postures that help them defend against predators. In the wild, survival is a constant balancing act, and giraffes have mastered the art of signaling to each other through body language, feeding patterns, and behavioral cues. Whether they're calmly grazing or facing a dangerous predator, giraffes use their physical expressions to communicate, connect, and survive in the wild. Their ability to convey meaning without words is a testament to the elegance and complexity of their social lives, demonstrating how even the most subtle signals can have a profound impact on their survival. In the next episode, we will continue to explore the giraffes' unique interactions, delving deeper into the roles they play within their herds and how their subtle communication skills help maintain order and safety in their ever-changing world. The giraffe's subtle signals and expressions highlight the complexity of their social structure and survival strategies, illustrating how every gesture, from a tilt of the head to a flick of the tail, plays a vital role in their world. As one of the tallest and most iconic creatures in the jungle, giraffes are more than just magnificent giants roaming the landscape. They play a vital role in maintaining the health and balance of their ecosystems. While they are often admired for their elegance and towering presence, giraffes also serve as nature's gardeners, contributing to the regeneration of both forests and grasslands in ways that many might not immediately recognize. Nature's gardeners. Giraffes are herbivores, feeding on the leaves, fruits, and flowers of trees and shrubs. Their foraging habits are not only important for their own survival, but also for the environment around them. By browsing on the high branches of trees, giraffes help control the growth of certain tree species, preventing them from becoming overly dominant in the ecosystem. This process ensures that a diversity of plant life can thrive, creating a healthy and balanced environment for other species to inhabit. But giraffes' impact doesn't stop there. As they feed, they help disperse seeds across vast distances. Many of the plants giraffes consume produce seeds that pass through their digestive system unharmed. As the giraffes roam across the savannas and jungles, they deposit these seeds in new locations through their droppings. This process, known as seed dispersal, is crucial for the regeneration of forests and grasslands. The seeds from plants like acacias, which are a primary food source for giraffes, are often spread across areas that would otherwise struggle with plant growth. In this way, giraffes act as agents of change, promoting plant diversity and ensuring that the forest and grassland landscapes continue to flourish. Their movement through different areas also helps prevent the overgrazing of one particular region, allowing vegetation in different parts of the habitat to recover and thrive. Additionally, giraffes are often responsible for breaking the canopy of trees in forested areas. As they feed on the upper branches, they create gaps in the canopy that allow sunlight to reach the ground. This increased sunlight helps smaller plants and grasses to grow, providing food and shelter for countless other species. The giraffe's role in creating these gaps fosters biodiversity by supporting the growth of a wider variety of plant species, ultimately leading to a more vibrant and resilient ecosystem. The giraffe's role in grassland regeneration. In the grasslands, giraffes are integral to the maintenance of healthy ecosystems. Their browsing habits help regulate the height and density of woody plants, ensuring that grasslands remain open and accessible for grazing animals. By keeping certain plants in check, giraffes allow grasses to flourish, creating rich, fertile ground for herbivores to feed. Giraffes also play a role in promoting the growth of specific grasses that are essential to the survival of other species in the ecosystem. Their feeding habits stimulate the growth of certain grasses and help to clear the land of overgrown vegetation, which allows young grasses to sprout and thrive. This process keeps the grasslands from becoming too densely populated with shrubs and trees, ensuring that they remain as an open, productive habitat for the entire community of animals. Their impact on grassland regeneration is not just about feeding habits. Giraffes also create new spaces for other wildlife to thrive. The gaps they leave in the trees provide shelter for smaller species, and the seeds they disperse provide food for new generations of plants. In turn, these plants provide vital resources for a diverse array of insects, birds, and mammals, forming an interconnected web of life that depends on the giraffe's unique foraging behavior, a symbiotic relationship with the environment. Giraffes' contributions to ecosystem health extend beyond their feeding and movement patterns. The presence of giraffes in both jungle and grassland environments helps maintain a delicate balance between plant and animal life. As large herbivores, they are critical to controlling vegetation growth, which helps create a more diverse and resilient habitat for a wide range of species. Moreover, giraffes are key players in the food web. Their presence supports the survival of predators, like lions and hyenas, who rely on giraffes as prey. The balance of predator and prey in turn influences plant and animal populations, making giraffes essential to the overall functioning of their ecosystems. Their grazing helps keep certain plant populations in check, while their movements encourage the regeneration of new plants, ensuring that the cycle of life continues in a healthy, sustainable way. In the larger context of nature, giraffes play a role that goes far beyond their graceful stature. They are pivotal to the maintenance of both forest and grassland ecosystems, acting as gardeners who ensure the land remains healthy, diverse, and thriving for generations to come. Whether they're dispersing seeds, creating space for new plant growth, or helping control vegetation, giraffes are essential to the landscape they inhabit. As we continue to explore the world of these jungle giants, it's clear that their role in the environment is far-reaching and vital. Next time you see a giraffe gracefully browsing in the distance, remember that its presence is helping shape the future of the very land it roams. Jungle giants and ecosystems, the role of giraffes in the environment, impact on the food web. While giraffes are often seen as towering giants, gracefully browsing on tree branches, their role in the ecosystem extends far beyond what meets the eye. These magnificent creatures are not only significant in shaping the landscape, but they also play a crucial part in the intricate web of life that exists within the jungle and grassland ecosystems. Every action they take, from grazing to moving across the terrain, impacts other species, creating an interconnected system of survival that relies on the delicate balance between plants, herbivores, predators, and other creatures. As herbivores, giraffes sit at the base of the food web, consuming vast amounts of plant material. Their diet consists mainly of leaves, fruits, and flowers, especially from tall trees like acacias and mimosa, plants that are often out of reach for other herbivores. This means that giraffes are able to access food that other animals cannot, allowing them to carve out a niche in the environment and avoid direct competition with smaller herbivores such as antelope, zebras, and wildebeest. By feeding on these tall plants, giraffes regulate the growth of specific species, preventing them from becoming too dominant in the ecosystem. This action helps maintain the balance of plant life, ensuring that a wide variety of plants have the opportunity to grow and thrive. This is particularly important in maintaining the diversity of species within the ecosystem, as certain plants may be essential for the survival of smaller herbivores or insects. Giraffes also indirectly influence the diets of other species. As they move through the jungle or grasslands, their grazing leaves behind gaps in the tree canopy, which in turn allows sunlight to reach the forest floor and encourage the growth of new plants. The seeds dispersed by giraffes in their droppings help regenerate areas that might have been too heavily grazed, promoting the growth of grasses, shrubs, and smaller trees that are crucial to other animals. Predators and prey. The giraffe's role in the food web doesn't end with their interaction with plants. As one of the largest animals in the ecosystem, Giraffes also play an important role in the food chain as prey for apex predators, including lions and hyenas. Although giraffes are well known for their ability to defend themselves with powerful kicks and strong legs, they are still vulnerable to attacks, particularly when they are young or isolated from the herd. This predator-prey relationship is an essential part of the jungle food web. By being a prey species, giraffes help sustain the populations of predators in the area, which in turn keeps the predator-prey balance intact. Predators like lions play an important role in controlling the populations of herbivores, ensuring that no single species becomes overabundant and disrupts the balance of the ecosystem. The presence of giraffes, therefore, helps to maintain this delicate balance by providing a source of food for the carnivores that rely on herbivores for sustenance. The death of a giraffe, whether through natural causes or predation, also contributes to the ecosystem in ways that may be less obvious. Scavengers such as vultures, hyenas, and jackals feed on the carcass, helping to clean up the environment and recycle nutrients back into the soil. These nutrients, once absorbed by plants, create a cycle of life and death that supports a wide range of species in the ecosystem. In this way, giraffes contribute not only by their presence, but also by their eventual role in sustaining other forms of life after their passing. Symbiotic relationships. Giraffes, despite being solitary for much of their lives, also form symbiotic relationships with other species. One such relationship exists between giraffes and certain bird species, such as oxpeckers. These birds feed on ticks, parasites, and dead skin found on giraffes, benefiting from the easy access to food, while giraffes get a cleaning service that helps reduce irritation and infection from parasites. These kinds of mutually beneficial relationships help maintain health and hygiene in the animal kingdom and are a key aspect of the complex web of interactions in the ecosystem. In addition to their interactions with birds, giraffes also play a role in supporting other herbivores. By consuming large amounts of foliage from the tops of trees, giraffes allow other animals to access lower vegetation that would have been otherwise crowded out. This creates a harmonious sharing of resources, where the giraffe's browsing habits promote the well-being of smaller herbivores. The coexistence of these species is vital to the health of the ecosystem, as each animal contributes to maintaining the balance between plant life and herbivores. The circle of life. At the heart of the jungle food web is the circle of life, in which each species, no matter how big or small, plays a part in sustaining the whole. Giraffes, with their towering stature, unique feeding habits, and role in both predator-prey dynamics and plant regeneration, are indispensable members of this circle. They help shape the environment through their grazing, disperse seeds, and provide sustenance for both predators and scavengers. Without giraffes, the ecosystem would lose a crucial element, and the balance that exists between plants, herbivores, and predators would be disrupted. The role of giraffes in the environment. Keeping the habitat balanced. In the vast ecosystems of the jungle and grasslands, balance is key. Every species, from the tiniest insect to the towering giraffe, plays a crucial role in maintaining this delicate equilibrium. Giraffes, despite their impressive size, are not only beautiful creatures that captivate with their elegance, they are also environmental engineers, helping to shape the habitats they live in. One of the most significant ways giraffes contribute to their ecosystem is by keeping vegetation in check, which ultimately promotes biodiversity and supports a wide range of plant and animal life. Giraffes are considered keystone herbivores, animals that have a disproportionately large impact on their environment compared to their numbers. Their grazing habits are instrumental in regulating the growth of certain plant species, particularly trees and shrubs. By feeding on the uppermost leaves and twigs of tall trees, giraffes prevent these plants from becoming overly dominant in the landscape. This action allows for a wider variety of plants to thrive and prevents any single species from overwhelming the ecosystem. The giraffe's ability to feed on leaves that are out of reach for many other herbivores means they help reduce competition among smaller animals for food. For instance, giraffes will often consume the leaves of acacia and mimosa trees, plants that may be less accessible to other animals. As giraffes remove foliage from these trees, they allow new growth to flourish, which benefits other herbivores that can feed on the younger, lower branches. This selective feeding behavior ensures that a variety of plant species remain healthy and abundant, fostering greater biodiversity. Promoting biodiversity. By managing plant growth, giraffes create a more diverse and balanced environment. When giraffes feed on the upper canopies, they allow sunlight to reach the lower levels of the forest or grassland. This sunlight promotes the growth of grasses, shrubs, and small trees, which are vital for smaller herbivores and insects. As these plants grow, they support an entire array of species, from insects and birds to smaller mammals, all of which rely on a rich and diverse plant life for food and shelter. This increase in plant diversity, sparked by giraffes' browsing habits, benefits not only other animals in the food chain, but also the overall health of the habitat. For instance, the growth of grasses and shrubs in the understory helps prevent soil erosion by providing a protective layer over the ground. Healthy soil supports the plants that form the foundation of the entire ecosystem, from grasses that feed herbivores to trees that provide shelter and nesting sites for birds and other creatures. Regulating tree growth. Giraffes also help regulate the growth of trees in a way that promotes forest regeneration. By feeding on the leaves of young saplings, they reduce the number of dominant trees that could otherwise outcompete other plant species. This selective feeding allows for a wider range of trees to grow and prosper, which in turn supports more biodiversity. Without giraffes' browsing influence, certain fast-growing or invasive tree species could take over, crowding out other important vegetation and reducing the variety of habitats available for other species. In this way, giraffes serve as natural gardeners of the ecosystem, helping to maintain an open, healthy landscape where a variety of plant species can coexist. Their impact is felt across the food web, as the plants they help manage provide the foundation for the entire ecosystem. Their grazing behaviors are essential for preventing monocultures, areas dominated by a single plant species, ensuring that the habitat remains rich and diverse for all life forms. Symbiotic relationships with other species. While giraffes are maintaining vegetation balance, they also indirectly support the survival of many other species. For example, as giraffes browse on tree branches, they often shake the tree, causing leaves and fruit to fall to the ground. This provides an easy food source for smaller herbivores, such as antelopes, zebras, and other animals that might not have access to the same high-up food sources. By feeding in this way, giraffes create a dynamic environment where different species can share resources and thrive. Furthermore, giraffes' role in seed dispersal is another way they contribute to maintaining biodiversity. As they graze, giraffes often ingest seeds along with their food. These seeds are passed through their digestive system and deposited elsewhere in their dung. This natural process of seed dispersal helps to spread plant species over wider areas, contributing to forest and grassland regeneration. In this way, giraffes actively participate in the renewal of the landscape, ensuring that the plants necessary for the survival of the entire ecosystem are continuously replenished. A balanced ecosystem. Ultimately, giraffes are essential to the health of the ecosystem. Their role in controlling vegetation, promoting plant diversity, and facilitating seed dispersal contributes to the overall balance of the environment. Without giraffes, the jungle and grassland habitats would be significantly less vibrant, with fewer plant species and less food for the herbivores that depend on them. By browsing on specific trees and plants, giraffes help to shape the landscape in a way that supports an array of life forms, from smaller animals to larger predators. Giants at risk. The conservation of jungle giraffes. Threats in the wild. While giraffes are magnificent and resilient creatures, their survival in the wild is increasingly under threat. These gentle giants face numerous challenges that jeopardize their continued existence, and understanding these threats is essential if we are to protect them for future generations. Habitat loss. One of the most pressing threats to giraffes, especially those living in the jungles and grasslands, is habitat loss. As human populations expand, vast swaths of land are cleared for agriculture, urban development and infrastructure projects. These activities drastically reduce the space available for wildlife and force giraffes to live in increasingly fragmented environments. When habitats are lost, giraffes face the difficult task of navigating smaller, more isolated pockets of land, where food sources become scarcer and their ability to roam freely is limited. Giraffes depend on large areas to find adequate food and water, but as their habitats shrink, they are forced to travel longer distances, which can lead to increased mortality, especially for young calves who are more vulnerable. The loss of trees, particularly those they rely on for food, directly impacts their diet and overall health. Without a steady supply of the leaves and fruits that giraffes rely on, their survival is in jeopardy. Poaching. Poaching is another significant threat to giraffes, particularly for their distinctive body parts, such as their skins and horns. Giraffe populations have been targeted for illegal hunting due to the high value placed on their pelts and other body parts in some cultures. While giraffes are not as commonly poached as some other species, their slow-moving nature and large size make them an easier target for poachers. In addition to poaching for trade, giraffes are sometimes killed for bushmeat, further reducing their numbers. This illegal hunting disrupts populations and removes individuals from the breeding pool, which can lead to declines in genetic diversity over time, weakening the resilience of the species to other environmental pressures. Environmental changes and climate change. Another threat to giraffes is climate change. As global temperatures rise, the ecosystems giraffes depend on are undergoing significant changes. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe, reducing the availability of water and food sources in the wild. In some regions, extreme weather conditions, such as floods or heat waves, have led to the loss of key vegetation that giraffes rely on for sustenance. Furthermore, shifting weather patterns are altering the timing of plant growth and animal migrations, which can disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem. When giraffes struggle to find food due to droughts or changes in plant availability, their health and reproductive success are compromised. Calves may be born into environments where resources are scarce, putting them at an increased risk of malnutrition and death. Human-wildlife conflict. As human populations encroach further into giraffe habitats, conflicts between people and wildlife are becoming more common. Giraffes, in search of food, may wander into agricultural areas where they can damage crops. In some cases, farmers see giraffes as pests and may resort to lethal measures to protect their crops. This kind of human-wildlife conflict is becoming more frequent as human settlements expand and giraffes' natural environments shrink. The challenge is how to balance human needs with the conservation of giraffes and other wildlife. Education, sustainable land use practices, and wildlife corridors that allow giraffes to move between fragmented habitats are all potential solutions to help mitigate this conflict. The importance of conservation efforts. Despite these threats, there is hope for the future of giraffes. Many organizations and wildlife conservation groups are working tirelessly to protect these magnificent creatures and their habitats. Efforts to combat habitat loss include establishing protected areas where giraffes can roam freely without the threat of human encroachment. These protected areas provide safe spaces for giraffes to graze, mate, and raise their young. Conservationists are also focused on anti-poaching initiatives that aim to reduce illegal hunting by increasing patrols in giraffe habitats and educating local communities about the importance of giraffes and their role in the ecosystem. By involving local people in conservation efforts, these initiatives help to build a shared understanding of the value of giraffes, both ecologically and economically, as ecotourism continues to grow. Efforts to mitigate human-wildlife conflict are also crucial. Providing alternative food sources for communities living near giraffe habitats and creating wildlife corridors to connect fragmented habitats can reduce the likelihood of giraffes wandering into farmlands. These corridors not only allow giraffes to move safely between areas, but also help to preserve genetic diversity by encouraging interbreeding between isolated populations. The role of education and advocacy, public awareness, is key to giraffe conservation. By educating people about the threats giraffes face and the importance of preserving their habitats, we can inspire action on a global scale. Conservationists and environmental organizations are working to raise awareness through social media campaigns, documentaries, and community outreach programs. By bringing attention to the plight of giraffes and other endangered species, these efforts foster a sense of shared responsibility for protecting the natural world. Hope for the future. While the challenges giraffes face are significant, conservation efforts are making a real difference. With continued support from governments, wildlife organizations, and local communities, there is hope for giraffes. By preserving their habitats, reducing poaching, and promoting sustainable living practices, we can ensure that future generations will continue to witness the majesty of giraffes roaming freely in the wild. In the next episode, we will take a deeper look into the ongoing conservation programs aimed at giraffe protection and how these efforts are making an impact on giraffe populations across the globe. Join us as we continue our journey into the fascinating world of giraffes and their future in the wild. Giants at Risk, the conservation of jungle giraffes, human impact and coexistence. The relationship between humans and giraffes has evolved over time, and with it, the ways in which we interact with and impact the survival of these majestic creatures. While humans have historically coexisted with giraffes in many parts of Africa, modern challenges have made this relationship more complicated. Understanding how human activities affect giraffes and how we can work together to protect them is key to ensuring their survival. The growing human population. One of the most significant challenges giraffes face is the rapid growth of human populations across Africa. As people expand into new areas for farming, urbanization, and industry, giraffes are losing their natural habitats. The need for land for agriculture, infrastructure, and livestock grazing is pushing giraffes into smaller, fragmented areas, reducing their ability to roam freely and find food and water sources. With human activity encroaching on giraffes' habitats, these magnificent creatures are forced to adapt to their surroundings. They may wander into areas where they have to navigate roads, agricultural fields, and urban centers, increasing the risk of accidents and human-wildlife conflicts. These interactions are not only dangerous for giraffes but can also result in damage to crops, leading to tensions between farmers and wildlife. The role of conservation efforts. Despite the growing human presence in giraffe habitats, efforts to protect these towering creatures are making a significant impact. Conservation programs and initiatives aimed at preserving giraffes and their habitats work to strike a balance between human development and wildlife conservation. One of the most effective strategies has been the establishment of wildlife reserves and national parks, where giraffes and other wildlife can live and roam freely without the threat of human encroachment. In many regions, conservationists are partnering with local communities to establish protected areas for giraffes, ensuring that these critical habitats remain intact. These protected zones allow giraffes to access essential resources like food, water, and shelter, while also reducing the risk of human-wildlife conflict. By providing local people with an alternative livelihood, such as ecotourism or wildlife monitoring, conservation programs can help reduce the pressure on giraffes' habitats, ensuring that both human and wildlife needs are met. Community involvement in giraffe conservation. Local communities are often on the front lines of giraffe conservation efforts. Involving local people in conservation initiatives not only helps protect giraffes, but also creates a sense of ownership and responsibility toward the wildlife around them. By working together with communities, conservation organizations are fostering a relationship of coexistence between humans and giraffes. For example, in some regions, locals have been trained to become wildlife rangers, monitoring giraffe populations and reporting any signs of poaching or habitat destruction. Additionally, through education and awareness programs, people living near giraffe habitats are learning about the importance of preserving these creatures and their environment. As a result, many communities now see giraffes not as threats, but as vital parts of their ecosystem, offering both ecological benefits and economic opportunities through tourism. The promise of ecotourism. Ecotourism is playing an increasingly important role in the conservation of giraffes. By promoting responsible tourism, conservationists have found a way to generate income for local communities while also protecting giraffes and their habitats. Tourists visiting giraffe reserves and national parks bring much-needed funds that can be reinvested into conservation programs. These funds are used to support wildlife protection, education, and infrastructure improvements, which ultimately benefit both humans and wildlife. In addition to financial benefits, ecotourism helps raise global awareness about giraffe conservation. Tourists, both local and international, gain first-hand knowledge of the challenges giraffes face and the importance of protecting these animals. This increased awareness fosters a greater sense of shared responsibility for giraffe conservation, encouraging people around the world to contribute in any way they can. Addressing human-wildlife conflict. One of the most pressing issues in giraffe conservation is the conflict between humans and wildlife. Giraffes, in search of food, may venture into farmlands where they can damage crops or even destroy fences, leading to tension with farmers. To address this issue, conservationists are working with local farmers to implement strategies that reduce conflict. These solutions include providing alternative sources of food for giraffes, such as planting trees that giraffes can feed on, and constructing barriers that allow giraffes to pass freely while keeping them away from sensitive areas. In some cases, conservationists are also working with local governments to implement policies that discourage retaliatory killings of giraffes and other wildlife. Educating farmers and local communities about the ecological importance of giraffes and their role in maintaining a healthy ecosystem can help reduce negative perceptions and foster peaceful coexistence. Promoting sustainable development. Sustainable development is crucial for ensuring that both humans and giraffes can thrive in the same environment. By promoting practices that minimize environmental degradation, such as sustainable farming, responsible land use, and conservation-friendly infrastructure projects, we can reduce the negative impacts of human activity on giraffe populations. This approach involves careful planning to ensure that development projects do not disrupt giraffe habitats and that conservation priorities are integrated into economic development strategies. For example, when constructing roads or buildings near giraffe habitats, planners can take steps to ensure that these structures do not block giraffes' migration routes or disrupt their access to food and water. By incorporating wildlife corridors into development plans, giraffes and other animals can move safely between different areas, reducing the risks associated with fragmented landscapes. The path forward. The future of giraffes depends on how we balance human development with wildlife conservation. While human activity poses significant challenges, conservation efforts are helping giraffes adapt and thrive in a changing world. By fostering a relationship of coexistence between humans and giraffes, we can ensure that these gentle giants continue to grace the jungles and grasslands of Africa for generations to come. In the next episode, we will explore some of the successful conservation programs that are making a real difference in giraffe populations and how these efforts can be expanded to protect other wildlife species. Join us as we continue to uncover the world of jungle giraffes and the vital role they play in the ecosystem. Giants at Risk. The conservation of jungle giraffes. Preserving the giants' future. As we look toward the future of jungle giraffes, the importance of conservation initiatives cannot be overstated. The delicate balance between human progress and wildlife preservation is key to ensuring that these majestic giants continue to thrive in their natural habitats. Thankfully, numerous conservation efforts are making significant strides to protect giraffes and their environments, offering hope for the survival of these magnificent creatures. A focus on habitat protection. One of the most critical aspects of giraffe conservation is habitat protection. With increasing deforestation and land conversion for agriculture, giraffes are losing their natural habitats at an alarming rate. In response, conservationists have established protected areas and wildlife corridors, creating safe spaces where giraffes can roam freely without the threat of human encroachment. These protected zones allow giraffes to access food, water, and shelter, while also maintaining genetic diversity within the population by enabling migration and breeding opportunities. Organizations like the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, GCF, and African Wildlife Foundation, AWF, have been instrumental in working with governments and local communities to set aside land for giraffes and other wildlife. These initiatives are designed not only to conserve the giraffes' habitats, but also to ensure that they are sustainable for generations to come, providing long-term solutions to the challenges of habitat loss. Community involvement and education. Conservation cannot succeed without the involvement of local communities. In many parts of Africa, local people live alongside giraffes and are essential partners in their conservation. Education programs and community engagement are at the heart of many successful conservation projects. By raising awareness of the ecological value of giraffes, these programs help people understand that giraffes are not just majestic creatures, but important contributors to a healthy ecosystem. Through collaboration with local farmers, herders, and other community members, conservationists are developing strategies to reduce human-wildlife conflict. For instance, farmers are learning how to safeguard their crops without harming giraffes, while local communities are encouraged to participate in ecotourism ventures, providing them with a sustainable income while also promoting giraffe protection. By fostering this sense of shared responsibility, conservationists are ensuring that the protection of giraffes benefits both the animals and the people who live in their vicinity. Innovative approaches to conservation. In addition to habitat protection and community involvement, innovative technological approaches are playing a key role in giraffe conservation. One such method is the use of GPS tracking devices, which help researchers monitor giraffe movements, behavior, and health. By gathering data on giraffes' daily activities, migration patterns, and interactions with other species, scientists are gaining invaluable insights into the needs of these animals and how to better protect them. In some areas, conservationists are also using drone technology to monitor giraffe populations and detect illegal poaching activities. Drones can fly over vast areas, providing real-time footage of giraffes and their environment, allowing conservationists to track the health of the population and intervene quickly if necessary. This technology is particularly useful in remote and hard-to-reach areas, where traditional monitoring methods may be difficult or dangerous. Support for anti-poaching efforts. Poaching remains a significant threat to giraffes, particularly in regions where their unique coat patterns make them vulnerable to illegal hunting for their skin or as trophies. Anti-poaching initiatives are crucial for protecting giraffes from this ongoing danger. Conservation groups are working closely with local law enforcement to combat poaching, using a combination of surveillance, community-based patrols, and education programs to raise awareness about the importance of giraffes in the ecosystem and the consequences of poaching. Some conservation organizations are also supporting local rangers who patrol the protected areas to ensure that poachers are caught and prosecuted. These rangers play a critical role in giraffe conservation, often working in challenging conditions to safeguard these animals and their habitats. Ecotourism and sustainable development. Sustainable tourism is emerging as a powerful tool for giraffe conservation. Ecotourism not only helps fund conservation projects, but also promotes the protection of giraffes and their habitats. Visitors to giraffe reserves and national parks contribute financially to the protection of these areas, allowing conservationists to reinvest in habitat restoration, anti-poaching efforts, and community outreach programs. Additionally, ecotourism provides local communities with an incentive to protect giraffes. By showing the value of giraffes as a natural resource for tourism, local communities are more likely to engage in conservation efforts and adopt sustainable practices. This relationship creates a win-win situation where both the animals and the people benefit. The role of international cooperation. Giraffes do not recognize political borders, and their conservation often requires international cooperation. Countries across Africa are working together to protect giraffes and other wildlife by sharing resources, knowledge, and strategies. International organizations, such as the United Nations Environment Program (UNEP) and the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora (CITES), are supporting giraffe conservation through global initiatives that regulate trade and raise awareness about the importance of protecting wildlife. By fostering collaboration between governments, NGOs, and international agencies, giraffes are receiving the attention and protection they need to survive in a rapidly changing world. These efforts highlight the global responsibility we share in safeguarding the future of these incredible animals. The road to giraffe conservation is long, and challenges remain, but the progress made thus far is a testament to what can be achieved when we work together to protect these incredible animals. Through habitat protection, community involvement, innovative conservation technologies, and international cooperation, we can help ensure that future generations of giraffes continue to roam the jungles and grasslands of Africa. Giants at risk. The conservation of jungle giraffes. Conservation initiatives around the globe. In recent years, conservation organizations have been working tirelessly to safeguard giraffes and their habitats. Across Africa, dedicated reserves, national parks, and conservation areas have been established with the goal of protecting these magnificent creatures and preserving the ecosystems they rely on. These efforts are not only focused on giraffes themselves, but also on maintaining the delicate balance of the environment that sustains a multitude of species. Protected areas and wildlife reserves. One of the cornerstones of giraffe conservation is the creation of protected areas, where giraffes can roam freely without the threat of habitat loss or human interference. Countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia, and South Africa have designated large wildlife reserves and national parks that provide safe havens for giraffes. These areas serve as crucial strongholds where giraffes can breed, forage, and live without the constant threat of encroachment. For example, the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya is home to one of the most significant populations of Maasai giraffes, a subspecies that faces particular conservation challenges. The reserve offers a refuge for these giraffes, while also supporting a vibrant ecosystem that includes lions, zebras, and elephants, creating a dynamic and protected environment for all species. Collaborative efforts with local communities. In many regions, conservation organizations are working in collaboration with local communities to protect giraffes. These partnerships are critical because local people often live in close proximity to giraffe habitats and can either be a source of conflict or a powerful ally in conservation efforts. By fostering relationships with these communities, conservationists are able to promote sustainable land use practices, reducing human-wildlife conflict and ensuring that both people and giraffes can thrive. In northern Kenya, for example, the Northern Rangelands Trust works with pastoralist communities to manage land more effectively while also protecting giraffes and other wildlife. This approach allows for the coexistence of people, livestock, and wildlife, promoting conservation in areas where giraffes and other animals face threats from agricultural expansion and resource depletion. Giraffe Conservation Foundation's global impact. The Giraffe Conservation Foundation, GCF, has been at the forefront of efforts to monitor giraffe populations and raise awareness about the importance of giraffes in the ecosystem. With projects spanning across many African nations, the GCF has implemented programs that focus on monitoring giraffe populations through aerial surveys, GPS tracking, and genetic studies. This data is vital for understanding giraffe behavior, migration patterns, and health, allowing conservationists to take proactive steps to protect them. Additionally, the GCF has played a key role in advocating for giraffe conservation policies at both national and international levels, highlighting the importance of giraffes as an umbrella species whose protection helps preserve entire ecosystems. Their efforts have resulted in increased awareness among governments, nonprofits, and the general public, helping to secure funding and support for giraffe conservation initiatives. Wildlife corridors for giraffes. Another innovative conservation strategy is the establishment of wildlife corridors, which connect isolated populations of giraffes and other species across fragmented landscapes. These corridors provide giraffes with the ability to migrate and disperse more freely, maintaining genetic diversity and reducing inbreeding. By linking protected areas and allowing giraffes to move between them, these corridors also help to prevent the extinction of isolated giraffe populations. In South Africa, The creation of wildlife corridors has played a key role in giraffe conservation. The establishment of these corridors ensures that giraffes can access more areas for feeding, mating, and migrating, thus improving their chances of survival in a changing environment. It also allows them to maintain social ties, which are crucial for their survival and reproductive success. International collaboration and funding. The conservation of giraffes is not just a national issue, but an international one. Global organizations such as the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, and the African Wildlife Foundation, AWF, have supported giraffe conservation through funding, expertise, and the establishment of conservation policies. One key initiative supported by the IUCN and WWF is the Giraffe Conservation Status Assessment. This project aims to evaluate the status of giraffe populations across Africa and assess the effectiveness of current conservation efforts. Through this work, conservationists are able to track giraffe numbers, determine which subspecies are at greatest risk, and identify priority areas for action. The results of these assessments have been used to lobby governments for increased protection and to allocate resources where they are most needed. The role of ecotourism. Ecotourism has also proven to be an essential tool in giraffe conservation. By involving local communities in tourism efforts, giraffes and their habitats benefit economically. In places like Kenya's Amboseli National Park, ecotourism provides jobs, generates revenue for conservation, and encourages the protection of wildlife habitats. Tourists visiting these regions have the opportunity to witness giraffes in the wild, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation for these creatures and the challenges they face. By directing tourism dollars into conservation efforts, ecotourism has become a sustainable way for local communities to benefit from giraffe protection while contributing to the long-term health of giraffe populations. Additionally, it helps educate the public about the importance of protecting wildlife and the natural world. The road ahead. Despite the progress being made, challenges remain in giraffe conservation. The species faces continued threats from habitat loss, poaching, and climate change, and some giraffe populations are still declining. However, the concerted efforts of conservation organizations, local communities, governments, and the global public are making a difference. Looking ahead, it is essential that we continue to work together to protect these remarkable creatures. The success of giraffe conservation hinges on maintaining and expanding protected areas, strengthening international cooperation, and supporting local communities that live alongside giraffes. With sustained effort, we can ensure that future generations of giraffes will continue to grace the African landscape, playing their vital role in the ecosystems they inhabit. This segment highlights the ongoing efforts to conserve giraffes and their habitats, from establishing protected areas and wildlife corridors to global collaborations that address habitat loss and poaching. By promoting ecotourism and working closely with local communities, giraffe conservation initiatives are making significant strides, ensuring that these majestic giants continue to thrive for future generations. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you have enjoyed this conversation so far, don't hesitate to come back for more. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do so now. Give us a thumbs up and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss our subsequent informative videos. Thank you for your time, and see you in our next outing.